Good morning. In today's Advanced MS Excel Certificate course session, day 5, we are going to cover functions in detail. And apart from function, we are going to cover various view options in your Microsoft Excel workbook. So, before starting with the today's session, I would like to recall what we have done yesterday. In the previous session, in day 4 session, we have covered formulas. Under formula, we have seen that how to create simple formulas and how to create some complex formulas, how to make use of brackets, or we can also call it as parentheses, how to make use of it, and how by making use of such kind of formulas you can do your calculations very easily, and you can make an static formula so that the formula will remain same, and whenever you change the value of the cell, it will automatically recalculate depending on the current value of that particular cell. So yesterday we have seen an example of a bill or an invoice where we have calculated tax, where we have calculated amount for a product for a particular quantity, and also we have calculated the total amount of a bill. So now we are going to make use of functions. So we'll see that how to make use of such functions using which we can ignore the use of formulas or ignore the need of creating a formula. So I mean to say that when we make use of functions, so functions allows us to perform some simple calculation or some complex set of calculations automatically without creating a formula. Okay, so today's session we are going to see that how to make use of these inbuilt functions which are provided in the library of Microsoft Excel. For that, I would like to share my screen with you students. Like yesterday, we have performed operations on such type of sheets. We have, like if you want to calculate the billing amount of this particular invoice, so what you are going to do, you are going to create some formula. So this is how I am creating a formula, and then it is calculating it. Then I am making use of fill handle to calculate line total for all these items. Now here, as you can see here at the bottom, the total of the bill or the total bill amount is been displayed here, because here also we have made use of this particular formula. As you can see here, instead of using a formula, what I have did, I have made use of a function. Now how this function works, if I would not have made use of this particular function, then what I would have done, I would have calculated the addition of all these cells. Got it? So this is how you can done, and yesterday also we did it in the same way to calculate the total of the billing amount. Now just see how complex it is to add each and every cells together, and then we are going to get the total amount. Okay, so it is a little bit complex and a lengthy process when there are multiple cells to be added together. So instead of that, that process can be eased just by making use of some inbuilt functions which will allow you to add multiple cells together without adding each cell individually. What you can do, you can collectively add all the cells together, and that is possible with the function. Is that clear to all of you? I would like to give you just some brief of function, what these functions are. So like a function is a predefined formula, like we are creating our own formula. So instead of that, when we are making use of function, so function is a predefined formula that performs calculation using specific values in a particular order. Excel includes many common functions that can be used to quickly find the sum, average, count, maximum value, minimum value for a range of cells. Means these are some very commonly used, or you can say most commonly used Excel functions which are used in day-to-day practice. In order to use functions correctly, you need to understand the structure of a function, that how these functions are going to work, what they consist of, what are their syntaxes are. So you need to understand their structure first. Once you understand their structure, then it becomes very easier for you to implement any kind of function. So in order to use functions correctly, you need to understand the different parts of a function. Means you need to understand the structure, that what that function consists of, and how to create arguments to calculate values and cell references. Because whenever we pass a function, each and every function consists of some arguments. Now here I would like to mention that an argument is what you provide as a value to a function, where a function may consist of more than one arguments, where each and every argument may consist of a single cell or a range of cell. Okay, means a function is like something which is going to perform some action, and to perform an action it requires some input. So argument acts as an input to that particular function. So in the same way, a function has arguments. So you need to understand that argument structure, what that argument consists of. Similarly, one function can take more than one argument, means it will take at least one argument, but at some time, if you want, you can put more than one argument also, depending on the structure and syntax of a function. And one argument may consist of a single cell, or it may consist of multiple cells or cell range. So in order to work correctly, a function must be written a specific way, which is called the syntax. The basic syntax for a function is in this way, like we make use of equal to sign. After equal to sign, there will be the function name, like for example sum is the name of a function, for example, and one or more argument. So argument contain the information you want to calculate, means the values which are there in the cell. The function in the example below would add the values of a cell range from A1 to A20. Like this is what the syntax of a function. Equal to sign. After that you are writing the name of the function. This is the name of the function, and then this is the parameter list. So these particular bracket, these are known as parentheses. So whenever there will be a function will always followed by a parenthesis, an open and close parenthesis. An open and close parenthesis is nothing but the open and close round bracket, and within this parenthesis the argument will be provided. Okay, you can have an single argument, or you can have an argument list. Argument list is a collection of more than one argument, where each and every argument will be separated by comma. Like here, if it is writing sum within parenthesis a1 colon a20, what does it means? Whatever values are there in these cells from a1 to a20, all these 20 cells values will be summed. Okay, they will be added together and their total will be returned. So this is what the use of sum function is. Like I would like to show you the example here in this particular case. Like here what we did, we have calculated the total by making use of this plus operator. Okay, here what I'm doing, I'm making use of plus operator and I'm using that operator on each and every cell to add their values. Now instead of that, if I doesn't want to do that, what I can do, I can simply write some. As you can see, the moment you type in formula box, the moment you type a name, it automatically pops up some relatable functions. So whatever function you want to use, you can make use of. Okay, sum followed by open round bracket, or you can say parenthesis. What you need to do, you need to provide the cell range. Either you can type the cell range, or you can simply make use of your cursor to do that. Here if I am writing A1 to A20, so A1 to A20 consists of the menu items, where these menu items are specified in form of characters, so it is not going to work on this particular thing. So some function is only going to work on the numerical values, where my numerical values are stored here in D column, which I need to add. So what I will do, I will insert the argument as D. The first value is there in 4, so I will add D4, put colon, then the final range is D13. Okay, you can do it in this way and then you can close the bracket. The moment you do that and press enter, what happens, it does the same thing what you have done earlier by making use of plus sign or by making use of addition operator. Okay, otherwise if you don't want to type the cell values manually, what you can do, you can just put the cursor at the first cell and then you can drag your cursor to the bottom of your cell where the final value consists of. The moment you release it, you enter a closed, or you can say closing parenthesis or close round bracket, and then press enter. It does the same operation. So this is how your operation can be eased. Now as you can see, this is the simplest way of doing that calculation. So if I want to add this entire number, so instead of using plus sign individually by adding each and every cell together, instead of that, what you can do, you can collectively add all these cells together by just making use of a function. So this is how it eases your job. So as you have seen here, we have used this example and I have demonstrated you. Now when you are talking about this argument, so this is how you can generate the argument list. Like we'll try with one more function. Suppose if you need to take the average, like I want to know that what is the average of all the items, what is the average price of all the items regardless of its quantity. Okay, means how much I have spent on each and every, on an average how much I have spent on each and every item which I have bought today. So what I can do, I can make use of a function that is known as average. Now here I have demonstrated you with example that how to make use of this formula box for entering functions. Instead of that, what you can do, if you want to insert or if you want to make use of a function, you can directly go to this home tab. In home menu option on this ribbon, home ribbon, what you can do, you can just go to auto sum. Now auto sum is the option from where you can insert multiple functions. Now just the arrow towards the right hand side of this particular auto sum, you click on that. The moment you do that, you will be able to see some basic functions which are available there. These are the most commonly used functions which we use in MS Excel, that is sum, average, count numbers, max, min. Out of that, sum I have already demonstrated. Now average. What average will do? Average will perform the sum operation on the selected number of cells, and after adding these cells together, it will divide it by the number of cells we have added, so that we can get the average. Like if I am adding 5 numbers, so after adding those 5 numbers, it will divide the total by 5, so that we can get the average of those 5 numbers. So here we can make use of average. Then we have count number. This count number function gives you count of cells which you have selected. Okay, that will also demonstrate. Here count number only works on numbers. It doesn't works on any other data or value other than number. If you are trying to make use of count numbers on menu item, it is not going to work. If you are going to use count numbers on unit price, yes, it will definitely work. If you are going to make use of count numbers on quantity, yes, it will definitely work. In the same way for line total, it will work. Why? Because they consist of numbers. Then there is a function max, where max function returns the maximum value from the selected range of cells. In the same way, min function will return the minimum cell value from the selected range of cells. Okay, so we'll try to perform on this particular functions. Apart from that, Excel provides you a list of more functions where you can try this. Apart from that, you have some more functions also, like these are related to financial, date time, math and trigonometry, statisticals, lookup and references, database, text, logical, information, engineering, cube, compatibility, web. So these are the different functions, different types of functions which you can make use of. If suppose if I'm clicking on financial, so just see, this is the list of financial functions which are available. Now if I am clicking on date and time, so these are the list of date and time functions which are available. If I am clicking on math and trigonometry, so these are the list of functions which are available under that particular option. If I am clicking on statistical, so this is what I can see. So Excel consists of more than 100 numbers of functions which are present. So we cannot learn each and every, but you should learn that how to make use of these particular functions, so that whenever required, you can use any of these functions by your own. Okay, so you need to understand that how to make use of these functions rather than knowing what they do. Because whenever you select a function here in this insert function option, it will always give you an example of it along with its structure, and also you can go to help and you can read about those particular things. So learning each and everything is not important for you, but you should know that how to learn it, how to make use of this particular function, and how functions are created, so that you can understand their structure, so that it will be better for you and it will be easier for you to implement them. Okay, so rest apart, first I am going to make use of average. As we have made use of sum, now we are going to make use of average. So when you click on average here, what happens? The average will be inserted here into the cell which you had selected. Okay, now it is selecting the cell reference from D4 to D14. No, now, but I don't want to get the average of D4 to D14. So instead of that, what I can do, I will delete it and I will select this cell, and I want the total from D4 to D13 only, and I will press enter. So this is what on an average I am spending on each and every item which I am purchasing. So this is what the average cost of each and every item. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, okay, very good. Very good. Now we can see one more thing, like if I want to count that how many items we have purchased. So what we can do, we can make use of this count number operators. Now again see, I have selected here, I have selected this particular cell and I'm going to auto sum. Now I'm clicking on count numbers. The moment I do that, as you can see, by default it selects the cell range, and what it does, it selects all the cell ranges where the numbers are present above that particular reference cell, where I'm going to make use of that particular formula. So the function name is count, count. Within parentheses you need to specify the counts cell references. So again, I will take the cell references from D4 to D13 only. And now the moment I enter, I get the count as 10. It means I am purchasing total 10 items. If you want, you can count it manually. You will get the same result. But if you have, like here, only 10 items are there, you can count it manually. But if there are thousand numbers of cells or thousand number of rows are inserted and you have to count some of it, then how you are going to make use of counting manually, because it will take a lot of time and you may get confused, some cell may get repeated. So that is why the count function can be used very efficiently and very easily to count the total numbers. Okay, so particularly the count which I have explained you here, that only deals with number. It will only give the total count of numbers, not of the characters. Okay, then we have max. Now suppose if I want to know that what is the maximum price, now I will perform this operation here. Okay, I want to know that what what is the maximum price of a particular item. Okay, like you can say all are in the references of 2.992.29 in that way. So suppose if I want to know that what is the maximum unit price from all of these particular items, so I can make use of max function. Okay, and here I can use this cell reference B4 to B13, and the moment I click on enter, I get 3.99. As I can see that 3.99 is the maximum value. In the same way, if you want to know the minimum out of it, you can click on min and you can check your cell references. Okay, so as whatever examples we have seen now, all these functions are operating on single argument, though the argument consists of cell range, not a single cell, but instead of it is using cell range, but they are operating on a single function or a single argument. In the same way, you can have multiple argument list. Like if I want to add multiple cells together, okay, what I can do, I can make use of sum. I can go to this particular option, I can click on sum, and here what I can see, I will calculate the total of column C, comma, I want to calculate the total of this column also. Okay, this column also, comma, I want to calculate total of this column also. Just forget about whether it is a price or quantity, just treat it as a simple number. If I want to sum all these numbers together, so this is how I can do this. As you can see here, first argument is from C4 to C16. Here the second argument is from D4 to D13, and then we have B4 to B13. So this is how it is going to work. Now here C16 is not going to work. We need to put it as C13 only, because after that it consists of some characters. Now the moment I do that, I will get the sum of all these three columns together. Okay, and now here you can see that the sum consists of total three arguments, like here number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, if you want, you can add n number of arguments if you want to add. Okay, the moment I do, it does this to it. Okay, understood all of you? Okay, now will try to do or try to make use of these functions in a different way. Like here we have made use of this auto sum operation or auto sum option to insert these functions. If you want, you can go to this formula ribbon, formulas ribbons on your Excel menu, and here you can see that many functions are there. Like auto sum is there. You can select the same functions from here also. If you want to check recently used functions, you can click on it. You will get all the recently used functions. Then if you want to get the financial functions, you can get it from here. The logicals are here, related to text are here. Okay, like if you want to convert all your text into capital letter, so you can do that by making use of upper function. Okay, here if you want to convert them all into lower characters, you can make use of this lower. Okay, so this is how you can do your operation. If you want to add two different strings or two different texts, you can make use of concatenate. Okay, so this is how you can make use of. Then there is functions related to function libraries related to it. So the thing is that the formula ribbon which you are able to see currently, that consists of function library. Okay, the function library where you can find many type of formulas, okay, which you can make use of. And apart from that, if you want to get some more type of functions, you can click on more function. You can get the statistical one, engineering, cube, information, compatibility, and web. Like these formulas are not directly available on the ribbon, so you can get it from more functions. Okay, now apart from that, is if you don't want to make use of functions directly, or you are not able to find the functions, so what you can do, you can make use of insert function. Okay, this insert function, the moment you click on insert function, what it does, it opens an insert function dialog box where you can search a particular formula. Okay, like if I want to search that count of number. Okay, the moment I search, so related to that, okay, related to counting of numbers, whatever functions it will get, it will display it. So at the top you can see count has been selected. Okay, so you can see count if, count a, decount a. So this type of functions which are related to counting, they will be here selected and will be represented in this particular list. If you want to count the number of days, count days. Okay, so when you do, you get days, networks, network day dot intl, work day. Okay, work day intl, network days. So this is how you get, means you can make use of insert function operation or insert function option for searching. Okay, like if I say that addition, okay, click on OK. So you can see related to it, or adding numbers, adding numbers, you will get median, average, average. Okay, so this kind of thing you are going to see. So this is how you can make use of search for a function. Okay, so this is how you can do that. And apart from that, if you want, if you know the name, so instead of going to some auto sum or going to formula library, what you can do, you can immediately go to this particular, means on whatever cell, if you want to insert a formula in or a function in E8, you go to that particular cell, put an equal to sign, and after equal to sign, if you know the name, you can type the name, start typing the name. The moment you do that, some related options will pop up, some related functions will pop up automatically. If you want, you can make use of the tab sign to select it, or you can make use of the mouse to select that particular function. Okay, and if you want, you can also understand that what type of parameters it requires. Like the moment I select average, so it by default opens the parenthesis and it says that it requires arguments in form of number, like number 1, number 2, number 3, in that way. Okay, now I hope I have made it very clear to all of you. In the same way, if you want, you can try some simple random numbers: 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8 comma 9 comma 10. If you want to get the average of number from 1 to 10, that is also possible. You can do it. Okay, not necessarily that you always make use of cell references. Okay, so this is how these formulas can be used differently. Okay, like we have used functions related to numbers. Now I would like to demonstrate some functions which are not related to numbers. Now suppose we have made the use of a count function for counting the numbers which are present in this particular cells. Now what if I need to count the items which are present in your bill? Means I need to count the items which are available under column menu item. What I can do, like count is only used for the numbers, so accordingly we can make use of count A. What we can do, we can make use of count A. Okay, like I write count, okay, A. Just see what happens. The count A, here you can see the detail is given that counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty, and also it counts those values which are other than number. Okay, so this is what the use of count A is. Now here I will make use of this particular function. I will write equal to count A. The moment I type count, it automatically at the second place it gives count A. Okay, I select it and then I provide the cell range. The moment I do that, here the cell range is from A4 to A13. Close your parenthesis, press enter. It gives 10. Okay, so this is how count A functions can be used on the cells which are consisting of the values other than number. Okay, now here is creating invoice, menu order, paper goods. Okay, now these are all for your homework that you can do today. But apart from that, like I would like to take two different dates, like date of order, okay, and date of delivery, date of delivery or date of service, whatever is, okay, whatever you want consist of. Like if you want, you can wrap this text here also, expand it a little bit. Okay, now I write a date over here, like today's date or 5 days before date. So, like I would put 4th of June 2020. Okay, and today's date is 9 June 2020. Now, if I want to get the difference of these dates, date, okay. So, what can I do? If I want to get the total number of days it took to provide me the service or to provide the delivery, so how to count these dates? So as I said you that what you all can do, you can go to formulas, From formulas, you can go to more functions. You can go to statistical, and from statistical, you can select. Sorry. From here, you can go to this insert function. You can type count days. Okay, the moment I do that, I will find. I need to find network day. Okay. Yes, network days. What network days will do? Returns the number of whole working days between the 2 days. So network day, what it does, it gives a count of working day from a start date to end date. If there will be any holiday, so that holiday will be terminated or it won't be counted. So here by default, if you are not providing any holiday list, so what it will do, it will only check for Sundays. Okay, if there is any Saturday Sunday found, so it will not count those days, otherwise it will count it. If it is a weekday, it will count it, or if it is a working day, it will count it. Okay, so what you can do, you can make use of this particular date, and now you can enter the initial date, that is F3, and then end date is the G3. Okay, now the moment you do that, the formula result shows 4. So there are total 4 working days. So you can get the difference of date or the time or the number of days it took to deliver. The number of working days it took to deliver. I can put number of working days. So this is what the number of working days it took. Okay, so this is how you can perform this operation also. So this is how different functions can be used by us. Now that depends what type of data we have, means depending on the type of data only we can decide whether we need to make use of this function or that function. So the usability of function totally depends on the kind of data that our Excel workbook holds. Okay, yes. So there is a question from one of the student that she asked that what if we need to count all the days between two different days, means we don't want to skip either Saturday or Sunday. So simply for that, there is a function known as days. Okay, the moment you use this function, what it does, it gives a difference or the count between two different dates. So here this is the range. Okay, between F3 and G3, you press enter, you will get -5. Why it is giving -5? Because you are taking from lower date value to higher date value. That is why it is giving -5. If you use it in this way, like you use the higher date first, so that is G3 minus F3, so it will give you 5. G3 not minus comma G3 comma F3, it will give you 5. Got it? Is it clear to all of you? Yes, we can also make use of fill handle in functions also, like we used to make use of in formulas. Like if I am putting another date, uh, let it be 1st of June 2020, then here 25th of May, okay, 2020, and now I will make use of 5 June 2020, and I will use 30 May 30 May 2020. Okay, I'm using it. Now if I want to make use of the same function for counting the number of working days, what I can do, I can make use of fill handle. Okay, I will get the count, and here if I don't want to make use of network days, instead of that I need to count each and every day which are between these two dates, I can make use of this. Okay, so this is how we can get the values. Okay, now here we have completed with our session of functions. Okay, now I would like to start with some more options which you can perform on rows and columns, that is freezing, panes, and some view options. Now whenever you are working with a lot of data, it can be difficult to compare information in your workbook. Like if you have a very large Excel sheet which consists of lots of rows, means thousands or 10,000s of rows, and if you want to make comparison within the sheet, then it becomes very difficult for you to compare all the values at once. So fortunately, Excel includes several tools that make it easier to view content from different parts of your workbook at the same time, including the ability to freeze panes and split your worksheet. Means the freeze pane option will allow you to freeze some of your rows and columns so that it will remain static, it won't move. Okay, so that you can make use of, like the header, the column headers which you want to see constantly, you can freeze it. The columns which you want to see constantly, you can freeze them. The same way you have the split option also available. You can split your worksheet into multiple parts so that you can do the comparison simultaneously. Okay, now to freeze a row, you may want to see certain rows or columns all the time in your worksheet. Okay, now you may want to see certain rows or columns all the time in your worksheet, especially header cells. By freezing rows or columns in a place, you'll be able to scroll through your content while continuing to view the frozen cells. Like this is my file. Now this is the file. As you can see, the file is very this sheet is very large. Okay, it consists of these many columns, and it consists of these rows. Now the moment if I want to see the last rows, what happens, my header goes up. Now it is not invisible because it goes up. So what if I want to know that what the values in column C consist of, what the values in column D consist of, I cannot recall it each and every time. Okay, so that needs to be in front of me. Okay, so for that purpose, what I can do, I can make use of freeze pane option. And apart from that, suppose if I'm scrolling my sheet towards the right hand side to know that what these columns P, Q, R, S consist of. Okay, so the moment I move it to right hand side, what happens, the first column, okay, the value which are stored in column A or in cell A, they are not appear to me the moment I scroll my see towards the right hand side. So now if I want to know that which value belongs to which person, so it is not be clear. Why? Because that cell is hidden now. I cannot see that. So the freeze pane option also allows me to freeze this particular column so that I can see it whenever I want. Means how, to what extent I am scrolling my sheet, that doesn't affect it, it will remain static. That example we will see now. The freeze pane option is available in the view ribbon of your Microsoft Excel. The moment you go to view ribbon, you will be able to see these many options like page layout, normal, page break, grid lines, formula, all these things. Now here under Windows option, you will be able to see split, hide, freeze pane. Here you can see freeze pane. The moment you click on this arrow which is pointing downwards on the freeze pane, you will be able to see these three options, that is the freeze pane options, and then freeze top row, and then freeze first column. Okay, now here when I make use of freeze top row, what happens, it will only freeze the first row. Now here the first row only consists of 2014-15 sales data. Now if I move my Excel sheet downward, what happens, it doesn't show me salesperson. Got it? It doesn't show me salesperson because it has only freeze the first row, that is the top row. So what if I want to freeze these two rows together? Okay, then what I can do, I need to make use of freeze panes. Now first what I need to do, I need to unfreeze so that whatever rows were frozen, they will be unfrozen. Now what if I select freeze first column? So freeze first column will always freeze the first column, that is the value which are stored in A, column A, that will be frozen. Now what happens, the moment I scroll my worksheet towards the right hand side, what will happen, it will keep that column A static. Okay, now whatever I scroll, that value will be always visible in front of the values which are stored in A. So if I want to know that how much sales was done by Alanson in the month of April, I can easily get it. Okay, for the month of April, May, June, whatever it was not visible earlier in the single screen, now it is clearly visible with this option. So this is how this freeze first column option can be useful. Now the moment I unfreeze, so it will remain, it will come back to the earlier state. Now we'll see the very first option, that is freeze panes. Now this freeze panes allows you to keep your rows and columns frozen together. By making use of this option, you can keep your rows and columns frozen together. Like in the earlier two option, either you could have frozen your rows or you could have frozen your columns. And in both the option, it has only allowed you to freeze your either your first row or your first column only. Now the moment when I use freeze panes, what it does, it allows you to freeze your rows and columns both together. The moment I click on it, what happens? Here as you can see, by default it has selected it, and here it is allowing you to do that. Now this particular portion is has been frozen. Okay, only this area. Okay, and apart from that, all the things are movable. Okay, now what if I select column A and row 1 and 2 together, and then I click on freeze panes? Just see what happens now. Now, unlike earlier, it will only freeze the column A as well as the row 1 and 2. The moment I do that, just you can see, okay, and here also it will do that. Okay, so this is how you can make use of this particular freeze panes option. Okay, now here Excel also provides you another option where you can create multiple copies of your current Excel workbook. Like this is your workbook. If you want to create one more copy of it, if you want to create one more copy of it, okay, so you can click on new window. The moment you click on new window, what happens? It will it will create another window for you for the same file. Okay, like this is available here. As you can see, both the files are same. What it has done, it has only created an additional window for that particular file, so that if you want to make any kind of comparison, so you can keep these files together and you can compare your values. Okay, so this is how it works. Got it? You can create, or means it is not going to store this copy. It will only create an additional window for your current workbook, so that if you want to compare some data, like here from 2014-15 sales, I need to compare 2012-13 sales. So what I can do, I can open this file, and the same I can compare these two sales data together. Got it? Like if I want to know that Alison Cathy's sales report for January 2014 was this, and now for current, for 2000 January 2012 it was $5,076, and for January 2014 it is $3,799. So this is how you can compare additional seats or multiple seats together by making use of this new window option. Okay. Apart from new window option, it also provides you the split option. The moment you click on split option, what it does, it divides the window into different panes that each scroll separately. The moment I click on split, what it does, it has split your window into multiple panes, and you can scroll them separately. Okay, like when I click here, I will click here in this area, it will split it. Now it has split your window horizontally. Okay, now the horizontal, all the horizontal fields are, vertical fields are visible at once, but all the horizontal fields will not be visible together. Now suppose here if I want to see some rows, I can see them, and apart from that, if I want to see some other rows down, I can do that. Okay, so if I want to make comparison in the same cell vertically, I can make use of split option. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, so this is how you can split it. The moment you click it again, it undoes that split operation. So that is all for the today's session. Now I would like to conclude my today's session. Today's we have covered functions. We have seen different functions, their implementation, the way they can be implemented on different type of data, and we have also seen some view option in advanced Excel, as well as we have seen the freeze option in Excel, how to make use of it. So I would like to conclude with these topics. Tomorrow, in tomorrow's section, we are going to cover sorting and filtering of data. Okay, so that's it for today's session. Thank you.